Hey everybody! In this video, I'm going to show you one of 4 ways to create and apply repeating graphics to paths and shapes in Adobe Illustrator. In this first video, we'll be using the blend method. You know, when I was putting this video together, it just kept getting longer and longer. So I decided to create it in 4 parts to make it more convenient for you to watch. So make sure you watch all 4 parts. So let's jump over here to Adobe Illustrator and we'll get started. Now the first thing we're going to do is create a graphic. So we'll come over here and grab the star tool. And when you make the star, if you hold the shift option, that'll constrain it to a regular star. If you let off an option, it'll have a little more of a fat star. But we're going to hold down option and make a regular star. Then for the fill, we'll click none. Then we'll switch the black with the white to fill that. Now we're going to click on our star, hold down shift and option, and drag a copy over here. Then we'll select both of them, come into object, blend, make a blend, and we'll make a couple of copies of that. And the first thing we're going to do is grab our Bezier pen, and we're going to draw a path with our Bezier pen. You can also get your brush and draw a line with your brush. And you can also grab your pencil tool and click and make a line with that as well. So now we're going to attach these blends to these lines. So we're going to click on the blend, we're going to click on the line, come up to Object, Blend, and then Replace Spine. And that's going to attach that blend to that path. Then we'll do the same thing with this brush path. Click that, click the path, Object, Blend, Replace Spine. And then we're going to do the last one that we drew with our pencil. Do the same thing, Object, Blend, Replace Spine. So now we have these blends attached to these paths, and what we can do is click on one of them, come up to Object, Blend, and Blend Options. There's a few settings here in the blend options we can change. We can change the orientation. Let's turn the preview on first. We can change the orientation where they flow more in a line, or we can leave them the original orientation where they're all straight. We can change the specified steps. Right now there's 23 stars, but we can highlight that and arrow it up and it'll add more stars. Arrow it down takes away stars. And we can change the orientation and see what that looks like when we add some more stars. And we can also use specified distance. So you could tell it you want them 1 inch apart, and it'll spread them 1 inch apart, or 0.75. And you can specify a distance between the stars. And we can do that with any of these other lines as well. So besides the blend options, there's a few other things we can do to this to customize it. The first thing we can do is we can select the first star or this last star, and whatever changes we make to this first star is going to blend all the way to the second star. So if we click that with our direct select tool, then change to our select tool, click that, shift option and drag, make that a little bit bigger. Now it's going to make those bigger, it's going to blend all the way to there. If we have that selected and we apply a gradient to it, then it's going to apply the gradient and it's going to blend it all the way from the gradient to the black star. You can also add a color and it'll blend it from blue to grays to black. And we can also rotate this star. It'll blend that rotation as well. If you have one of these first ones or these last ones selected, if you try to apply the drop shadow this way, it's not going to work. When you turn on the preview, you'll see that it makes a little box around each star for the drop shadow. So if you try to add a drop shadow this way, it's not going to be the right effect you're looking for. So we'll just cancel that. And if you want to do a drop shadow, you have to select the whole thing. Then you can apply your drop shadow to the whole thing. And now it'll work. It just won't work when you try to select an individual star for it to blend. Some other things you can do is select the beginning or the end one, and you can apply some other effects to those. We can apply a pucker or bloat. If we move this to the pucker side, you'll see how it affects that star, and then it'll blend that look all the way back to a normal star. You can also turn it to the bloat side, so it's more like a flower look, and it'll blend that all the way back to a star. We can do roughen. We can roughen one side of it, and it'll take that roughened one and it'll blend that back to a regular star. And let's see, we can twist it. If we twist this, it'll twist it around back to a regular star too. So let's try like 200, and it twists it around all the way back to a normal star. And we can try to do the zigzag, see what that looks like. And we'll just turn that up a little bit. Looks kind of like snowflakes maybe or something. So it'll zigzag it all the way back to a normal star again. So that's kind of some cool things you can do with the blends. So we're going to show you another way you can use the blends. We'll make another star here. Make a copy of that. Select them again. Object, blend. Make a blend. Make a few copies of this. Now we're going to apply these to some shapes, like a square and a circle. And we'll do this rounded edge box, and we'll do a polygon. We'll also do a star. So I don't know how we'll get everything blue here, but we'll switch back to black. Select those, we'll switch those to black too. I'm going to switch that around so we just see the outline there. Okay, so the first one we're going to do is, let me make those a little bit smaller because our shapes are smaller. So the first thing we're going to do is apply one of these blends to the circle. So click the blend, click the circle, object, blend, and replace spine. And you'll notice that the stars only go around about 3/4 of the way. They don't go all the way around. So what's happening is when you apply a blend to a shape like this, it's looking for a node to attach the beginning point, and it's looking for a node to connect the ending point. So since there's a node here and a node here and nothing in between, it only goes about 3/4 of the way around. So we'll undo that. And this is what you have to do to get it to go all the way around the circle. You select your circle, come over here, choose your scissor tool, and you can choose any of these nodes that you want, but we're going to choose this bottom one, and we'll just click that anchor point, come back here and get our selection tool, select our blend, come back to object, blend, replace spine, and now it goes all the way around because it attached the first star to the node on this side, and it attached the ending star to the node on this side. If we get our direct select tool here and click on that line, we can pull these apart and you can see what I'm talking about. It attaches a beginning point and an ending point. So there's two stars on top of each other here. The beginning star and the ending star are on top of each other. So this star and this star are here. And then all of this is the blended stars. Come up to Object, Blend, and we'll go to Blend Options. And again, all these stars are level, they're straight across. We can change our orientation, and now they kind of rotate, but we'll leave it on the original orientation. And we can change from smooth color to specified steps, and we can add some stars if we want. We can take some stars away if we want. And you'll notice that these two at the bottom never move. They stay there all the time. We can go all the way down to one star, and those two stars are still going to stay at the bottom where the beginning and ending points are. You can cut it here at the top if you want, but I just always cut it at the bottom because that's just how I've always done it. And then the last thing we can look at is specified distance. And I don't know why that always defaults to 0.06 because you can't even tell those are stars. So we'll just change that to 1 inch, and now they're 1 inch apart. We could change that to 0.5 inches. You can specify the distance, you can specify the number of steps, or you can just leave it on the original smooth color. So another thing we can do, let's go back into the blend options. We're going to go to specified steps, and we're just going to lower that a little bit, and we'll leave it there. And just want to show you one other thing you can do with this. If you get the direct select tool and you just lasso both of those stars at the bottom, then get your direct select tool where you can see the bounding box. Then you can hold down Shift Option and drag that, and then you can make all the stars bigger. Or if you wanted to just click on one of them, then get your selection tool and drag and make that one bigger, then it'll blend from bigger to smaller. Then if you wanted to add a color to this, you can add a red color to that. If If you want to change that star, you can click on that one, change that to a blue color, and then that would blend that from red to blue. And you can just stick this back on there because it'll just snap right back in place, so it's no big deal. Alright, so let's move on to the next shape. Well, one more thing about this, you can still do all your filters here. You can do the pumpkin bloat, the roughen, twist, zigzag, you can do all those. You can also apply drop shadow to it just like before. Okay, so the next one we're going to do is this square. And again, if we select the square, select our blend, object, blend, replace spine. Again, you'll see it goes from this node around to this node. It doesn't go all the way around. So this one, we're going to get our scissors. I'm going to make 2 copies of this square box. And this one, we're going to clip right here in the middle. And this one, we're going to clip right here on the corner. And we'll grab a copy of this, select both of those, object, blend, replace spine. And then we'll do the same with this one. Object, blend, replace spine. This was the box that we clipped in the middle. And then this is the one we clipped on the corner. And you can see that this one is spaced them out where it has stars on the corners. This one doesn't put them on the corners. It kind of like more of a beveled corner all the way around. But if we select this, we go to Object, Blend, Blend Options. We'll go to Specified Steps. We can add some more stars to that until they fill it up enough to hit the corners. So now at 31 stars, it's on all the corners. And if we take stars away, you can see that it's hard to, that one's almost on the corners. Well, I guess it pretty much is. But you can see that it's harder to get the stars to line up on the corners since you have it clipped there in the middle. And you can even do a specified distance where you could tell it, you want it to hit the corners. I'm going to resize both of these boxes to 3 inches. That'll make it a little bit easier to explain anyway. Go back over here to our blend options. Alright, so specified distance. So this box is 3 inches by 3 inches. Since our stars start here in the middle, we need to tell it we want 1.5 inches for the specified distance. And then that'll put them on the corners. You'll always have this, you're going to always have this middle one here since that's the origin. So if you wanted to add some stars in between here, you could go half of that, which would be 0.75, and now you'd have stars in there. Alright, so let's grab this one. We'll go to Object, Blend, Blend Options, and we'll go to our Specified Steps. And you can see when we add these, we still have to add quite a few to hit the corners. But if we go to Specified Distance, we know that that's 3 inches wide. So since we started here in the corner, we know this is 3 inches. So we'll put 3 inches there. And now it puts one on each corner because that's 3 inches. Now if we want to put in the middle, halfway in between each one, we can put 1.5, or we can let Illustrator do the math for us. We click here in the box, do a slash for divide, and then a 2, divide by 2, 3 inches divided by 2, hit tab. Then Illustrator figures that for us, 1.5 inches. Alright, so I'm just going to make this box 4 inches. Now if we do distance, we can do 4 inches on the corners, divide that by 2, and we have them in the middle. So now we'll move on to the polygon. Again, if we try to attach this to that, it's not going to go all the way around. So we just have to clip it in one corner. Now when we attach it, it will go all the way around. This is the beginning and the ending point. And then this one, same thing. Since this one has rounded corners, the best thing you can do is just clip it here in the middle. Because if you try to clip it on this corner, it's not really going to work very well. You're going to have a weird corner. And if you're wanting to adjust the curve on these corners, you'll have to do that before you clip it, because after you clip it, you won't be able to adjust these anymore. So we're going to come down here and clip this in the middle, and you can see those little handles went away. Now we'll grab this, grab our box, object, blend, replace spine. Now this is our beginning and ending point, so it's pretty smooth. You can go to our option, blend options, and again we can adjust the number of steps, adjust the orientation if you like. You can also do a specified distance again. Alright, so the last one we're going to do here is a star. So we're going to grab this, and grab our star, object, blend, replace spine, and again it doesn't go all the way because we forgot to clip it. Z. So I'm going to grab my scissors and I'm going to clip this top one right here and go back to my selection tool, grab my blend again, my star, object, blend, replace spine. Now it goes all the way around. So now we have a star full of stars. And you can see that these stars are hitting these outside points, but it's not really hitting these inside points. So we can bring up our blend options again. We'll change this to specified steps, and we'll just add a few more. And now that looks pretty good. The stars are on the corners on the outside, and the stars are on the corners on the inside, so that looks a lot better. So again, we can apply all our different effects to this and everything. Colors, gradients, whatever you want to do. And like before, we can grab one of these stars and adjust the size, and it'll blend. We can adjust the rotation, and it'll blend. But I'm going to show you one more thing you can do here. We'll get our direct select tool and we'll grab both of those stars. Go back to our selection tool, and we'll come over here to effect, convert to shape, and we're just going to pick ellipse, choose absolute. We'll just make that 0.25, 0.25, and we can convert all those stars to circles. We can convert them to a rectangle. We can convert them to a rounded rectangle, which pretty much also looks like a circle. That's funny. So if you ever have one of these blends and you need to change it from a star to a circle, or if you have triangles and you want to change it, you can change it to a square or a circle, or it says a rounded square, or a rounded rectangle, but it looks like a circle to me. Anyway, once you get all these done and you have them the way you want them, you can come up here to Object, Expand Appearance, and now that just turns your shape into a graphic. So you can't change it anymore at this point. It's just a graphic. This one here, we can come up and change that one, expand it, click OK. Now we've got that, and all these you can do expand them too if you want to use these for a photo frame or whatever you want to use them for. Once you expand these and have this shape locked in, you can still apply some effects to those. You can still apply these same effects. It's just when you apply the effects to this, it applies it to the whole thing. It doesn't blend it anymore because you got rid of that blend. It's just a graphic now. So if we pucker it a little bit, you can see how it changes all the shapes. And if we bloat it, you can see that it just changes everything. Kind of like that. That's kind of cool, those diamonds. And then we could also add a drop shadow to that, and any of the other effects we want to apply. If you want to add an outline to this, you can just click the outline, and you can come here and choose a color, yellow, and we'll just make the stroke a little bigger so you can see it. You can also come down here and align your stroke. Right now it's aligned to the middle. You can align your stroke to the inside, or you can align your stroke to the outside. And basically, if you wanted to, you could come here, choose a gradient, choose a radial gradient, apply gradient or drop shadow or whatever you want to apply to any of these. So you can see, using paths and shapes with blended objects, you can create some pretty cool effects. You can still use all of your filters and all of your special effects and your drop shadows and outlines and all that. That's just the first way. We're going to show you how to use repeating objects on a path or a shape, how to add your effects and everything to those. So I guess that's about it for our first video on repeating graphics using the blend mode. I hope you enjoyed this video and learned something new. Please be sure to tune in for our other 3 videos that will be coming along real soon. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comment section below. If you like this video, please hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you later.